nothing you can do to convince me that God did not take an extra day creating me. I mean, look at me.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking all about the TEAS test. So I've been getting feedback, and most of the people do DM me or email me and ask me suggestions on the TEAS. But with the TEAS, you just have to be strategic in when you take it and how you take it and what you focus on when you study for it. And that's the biggest message you should take away from this video. I took the TEAS back in 2020, which was a while ago, but I do remember the resources I used, and I do remember the mindset and how I went about and how strategically I went about taking this test. So just tune in. I'm gonna give y'all everything that I know, because that's what I'm here. I'm here to share knowledge with you guys, to make your nursing journey easier, and just to help you strategize on how you go about any tests in the nursing world. So the TEAS stands for Testing of Essential Academic Skills. So if you're going into any type of health science degree, you do have to take the TEAS. Most schools require you to score above a 65% on your TEAS test. I think my score was just about the same, about 60 or 65. I really don't know, because I was just trying to pass. I wasn't trying to score high on it. But I'm going to tell y'all how I did pass, and I will be showing my breakdown and my scores. Remember, I took this in 2020, okay? If you're going to a more competitive school, you do have to score really high. But honestly, I relied mainly on my GPA. I had a very high GPA, so I just know that I could have scored. I just needed to pass to get into my program. So that's what I mainly focused on. So I think I paid like $55 to take the TEAS test. So I'm gonna tell you all about how the TEAS test is broken down. So the TEAS test is broken down into 4 sections. They have your reading, which is and this is in the order of how you will receive the questions on the test. Reading is your first section. You have about 53 questions. They give you about 64 minutes for your reading. Math will be your second session. You have about 36 questions, and they give you about 54 minutes to take those questions. There's a chart. It's going to break everything down. Make sure you screenshot it. Science is your third session that will come up when you're on the ATI and you're taking your TEAS. You get 53 questions, and they give you 63 minutes. That's sketchy, right? Yeah, very much sketchy. And lastly, the last section you would get on your TEAS is your language usage. This is your smallest session, so you want to score really high on this session. You do not want to miss points in this session at all. It's 28 questions, and they give you 28 minutes. So you need to be moving on this session. Basically, you need to be answering these questions a minute or less, period. Please screenshot the chart that I had just had above. It will give you an idea how you need to strategize. I also will put another chart up here, which is this one. In those 4 sections, they give you the number of questions per topic in those 4 sessions. So you will know what you need to mainly focus on within those 4 sections. Like when you take standardized tests or any type of test, you have to be strategic, and you have to have a strategy when you go into these tests.
This is why I'm here, and this is why I'm giving you a different way of how to look at the test and break it down so that you can
spend your time studying smarter and not harder. That's the goal, is to be proficient and efficient on this channel. That's all I'm trying to convey here on this whole message, okay? So again, strategy. My strategy when I took the TEAS was to focus on math, language usage, and lastly, reading. I did not study science at all, and I will tell you why later. But those 3 sections was my big sessions, because through research I had already found out that most people do very poorly on their science. So I was like, who am I to beat the odds? So math is my weakest subject at any time. It's not that I'm not good at it. It's just that I just don't remember it majority of the time. So I know I needed to hit my math extremely hard, and that is what I did. It ended up actually being my top score, which that's what I intended to do, because anything that I'm weak in, I make it my strength, y'all. So you need to start with your weakest subject that you know you're not good at, and make it your bitch. That's all I'm gonna say. So like I said previously, keep in mind that many people do not do well on the science, and this is why you need to be strategic on when to take the TEAS. So people ask me this all the time. Take your TEAS test after you finish all your prereqs, which include your A&P 1, 2, Patho. If you take the TEAS after you have completed all these courses, they have gave you a crash course on everything you need to know, so you don't have to waste any additional time studying for science. Science is hard. And I say this because we have went our whole life learning language usage. We do it every day. We write emails, reading. We've been doing reading since we were in pre-K. In math, something that is familiar to you because you've learned it for 12 years. And so when you brush up on it, it's like riding a bike again. Science is not second nature to human. Like, we don't come out the womb learning, oh, I need to know science to survive in this world. No. So why waste so much time on it trying to take your TEAS prior to you taking your prereqs? It doesn't make sense. So we want to work smarter, not harder. So if you don't take anything else from this video, I need you to understand, take your TEAS after you have completed your prereqs. It makes sense. I literally had 2 weeks to take my TEAS. I studied for my TEAS 2 weeks intensely, like non-stop. So as far as reading is going to be one of your more difficult sections, guys. The reading is not like normal standardized test readings. The way the TEAS is structured is a little different. So I use Professor Caroline McAllister. Miss McAllister, well, Professor McAllister is the GOAT when it comes to the TEAS reading. She helps you answer these questions so fast that you don't even have to read the passage. I'm going to link her channel down below. Go check her out. It's going to be very beneficial to you, because what you're going to find out is that the TEAS likes to focus on what's the topic sentence of this passage, what's the main idea of this passage, what's the supporting details of this passage. And like I said previously, you only get 64 minutes. You get 64 minutes to complete the reading passage. That means you don't have enough time to be sitting there trying to read the whole passage, read the questions, and then go back to the passage and make sure your answer is correct. So her videos will show you where each sentence is located, where you can find an answer. So these mainly focus on like things like where's the main idea, what sentence represents the main idea, what sentence is the topic sentence of the passage, or they ask you like supporting details. And she'll tell you exactly, if you go to the last sentence in the first passage, this will always be your such and such. So every time on the money, when I was doing my practice questions, this lady was right. I was just like, wow, did she write the TEAS herself? So you don't have to read the whole thing. You just go to where, remember where she told you to go, and boom. And I bet one of those, A, B, C, or D, is the answer choice. I mean, go check her out. Why are you still watching? Go check her out now if you're struggling with your reading. So the resources I use the Monmetrics, the TEAS book, this one here. So the practice tests is in that book. I also bought the ATI practice tests that they have for the TEAS, but I think I only end up taking one of them. So for my math session, like I said, I'm weak in math, so I did a lot of hella practice questions on math. And you know, as humans, we forget how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. It's something that would never stick with me, and we don't use it on a day-to-day basis. So I came across the organic chemistry channel, which is I guess he's a professor too. He's really good. He has a whole like 2 hour long video on every section or everything you need to know for the TEAS math. I'm gonna link his video below too. Go check him out. It helped me so much. And the thing with the math is, keep doing as many practice questions as you can so you can familiarize. So my experience and what I scored. So y'all know me, I'm a borderline perfectionist, but I'm just gonna tell you straight up, I had 2 weeks to study for that TEAS. I almost forgot I had to take it, and my program was starting, and I couldn't get into my program without taking that TEAS. So I literally studied intensely for 2 weeks. I ended up scoring a 72, which you see here. This was my score, a 72. And I'm also going to upload the breakdown of each section. Surprise! I did not expect to score that high on my reading. I really thought I was going to score high on my language, but as you can see, it was my lowest score. And then thirdly, I scored higher on my science than my language, and I didn't even study science at all. And that's what I'm saying. Be strategic. take the TEAS after your prereqs. It's gonna help you because you're learning A&P1, A&P2, patho. You're learning all that stuff from a cellular level. So why go back and try to study that from scratch if you haven't already learned it? Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. So this is not the best score ever, but I never intended to score high. I didn't care if I got a 65 on the dot. Like, this was some last minute type of stuff. And this is just me coming here to show you the resources you can use and how you should go about taking the test, knowing how the questions are broken down and how many questions you get per section. And I will upload, you might want to screenshot it of like this basically tells you, like, although you get this many questions in one section, it breaks it down to the topics within those sections, so you know exactly what you need to focus on the most. See, that's how I go about taking tests. Like, I'm very strategic. Like, I'm not gonna waste time if it's only got, I'm not gonna study a whole section that only got 2 questions. I'm not gonna do that. It needs to make sense to me. Numbers, you know, men lie, women lie, people lie, but numbers don't. So pay attention to these numbers, screenshot this, use that as a reference so you know what topics you need to hit hard on. I hope this video is helpful to some of you out there. Thank y'all for tuning in. Keep giving me suggestions on what y'all want to know about starting your career in nursing or anything, like any type of test y'all want help on. Let me know. Like, I need content ideas because I be running out of ideas. But if y'all comment, I will have ideas. This is where I get my ideas from, the feedback that I receive from you guys. I am here to help. Yeah, the more feedback you give me, the more content I can push out. I don't just want to be posting just to post. I will be back with another video. Thank you guys for tuning in.